Hey, FCC fans, you could show your pride in a whole new way with the new FCC Visa debit card from First Financial Bank. First Financial is the exclusive banking partner of FCC, and they are just as committed to this club as you and I are. Not only does the card look awesome, but it also gets you discounts on FCC tickets and merch. Find out how to get yours and to see the account terms and conditions at bankatfirst.com/FC Cincinnati. First Financial Bank, member FDIC. Hey, what's happening, Cincinnati Soccer Talkers? Welcome to the big show here this Monday evening. We've got a very special show for you coming up here in just a few moments. We're going to be joined by new FC Cincinnati left back Andrew Gutman. He joins us on the King's Hammer hotline to discuss his arrival to the club, how he got started in soccer, and a whole bunch more. You won't want to miss that. We play a little rapid fire with him as well. So that'll be fun here in just a few moments. Of course, FC Cincinnati losing over the weekend to NYCFC 4-1. Not the best match for the orange and blue. Ron Jans had a chance to make his home debut, so that was somewhat exciting. And I guess even more exciting is the fact that, look, as they transition into this new style, this new philosophy, you can argue, even though they conceded 4 goals, you can argue that FC Cincinnati has at least looked a little bit better out on the field. So, in a few moments, we're going to catch up with Andrew, but before we do that, I just want to remind you that coming up, it's a big week, right? Hell is Real Part 2 this Sunday night, 6 o'clock against the Columbus Crew. So make sure you get your tickets, what are left of the tickets, coming up this Sunday night. And then, of course, we've got the 4th annual Cincinnati Soccer Talk Foot Golf Classic presented by the Joseph Auto Group this upcoming 24th, this Saturday. And it's an event you don't want to miss. So we do this event each and every year to raise funds for sports games for kids. Tom Grabo, the Cincy superfan, does a tremendous job with that each and every year. And we could not be more thrilled to be involved with him each and every year with this event. He does a really good job with what he does with his charity. And Brad Weigel, who really kind of puts together this whole event. And really, he does a tremendous job and doesn't get enough credit as well. He does just a tremendous job with the foot golf event, and it's coming up this weekend, August 24th, Woodland Golf Course. It's not too late to get registered. Head on over to CincinnatiSoccerTalk.com/footgolf to get your team registered. Right now, if you get registered, it's $200 for your foursome. But if you can't get a group of 4 together and you want to play, and you're by yourself, or maybe one other person wants to join you, head on over to CincinnatiSoccerTalk.com/footgolf. Get registered as a single golfer. It's $45 if you're a single golfer. So it's still not too late, folks. Get involved. Like I said, this is a great chance. We raise a lot of money for sports games for kids. It's for a great cause. We hope to see you there this upcoming weekend, this Saturday, the 24th, at Woodland Golf Course. Also, I just want to give a big shout-out and thanks to our tremendous supporters. This is the part of the show where we give shout-outs to those folks who make this thing happen each and every week. So first off, shout out to King's Hammer and Tim Bronsel, Matt Adamchick, Brian Malone, Jamie Smed, Jonas Tom, Jack Emery, Mike Bowman, Kathleen Francis, Teresa Everidge, Matt Imholt, Matthew Long, Joe Coling, and Tara Mullins. Thank you so much for supporting the show here at CST. To learn how you can support the show, head on over to CincinnatiSoccerTalk.com/support. All right, let's catch up now with new FC Cincinnati left back Andrew Gutman. And joining us now on the King's Hammer hotline, you know him as FC Cincinnati's newest star at left back. He has come to the club on loan from Celtic FC. He is Andrew Gutman, and he joins us now on the phone. Andrew, thank you so much for being with us here on Cincinnati Soccer Talk. Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited to be on the show. First of all, welcome to Cincinnati. How has your first impression of the city been?
It's been interesting. I mean, obviously growing up in Chicago, a bigger city than Cincinnati, but I'm kind of finding my way around the city, and I'm really enjoying it here.
Well, let's go back to Chicago. I want to go back and learn about your start in soccer. Let's start all the way back at the beginning. Can you remember your first travel soccer team?
Yeah, it was called the Hinsdale Hawks. So it was like a little local club team that my uncle started, and he was my coach. And I played alongside my cousin for many years. So that was probably my first experience of traveling outside of Hinsdale to play soccer.
So what was 8-year-old Andrew Gutman like on the soccer field? Were you just a crazed man out there?
Yeah, I always had a lot of energy. As you can see, that's how I play now. But back then, I rocked the rec specs too, so
Nice.
I had a little bit different style.
Were you always a defender, or were you one of those guys that basically you were where the ball was?
I was actually a forward growing up all the way until I was 15 years old, and then I got moved to left back. But yeah, I always like to be on the ball. I always like to have a lot of touches and still get forward and attack. That'll never change.
So what prompted the change? How do you go from forward to left back? You don't see that every day, Andrew.
Yeah, you don't. It's so actually the Larry Sunderland, the academy director now for FC Cincinnati, was my academy coach growing up. And basically left back was really the only open position on the field at the time, and he just kind of threw me there. And he saw that I had potential, so he just kept me there until I learned the position and got really good at it.
Well, that I'm assuming you're left-footed, being that you're playing on the left side, and you seem like almost like a natural left back there. I mean, I'm assuming you're left-footed, and that helped, right?
Yeah, yep. I'm heavily left-footed. Actually, just like a couple of years ago, I started to really use my right foot. But growing up, I never wanted to touch the ball with my right foot. But as you get into harder and higher levels, you got to be able to use both feet. So.
Yeah, when I was playing, Andrew, my left foot was just for standing. So I know how you feel there. You mentioned Larry Sunderland, though, the new academy director here at FC Cincinnati. Obviously involved with you at a young age, but how involved was he in getting you here and maybe getting you to FC Cincinnati and the opportunity here?
I wouldn't say he was involved in like the move happening. I think that was more of higher up people at the club. But when he found out I was coming here, he was really excited. We've always kind of kept in touch throughout the years. When I was in college, and then when I was making my pro decisions, and even when I was back at Celtic training, he'd ask me how I was going and stuff like that. So we've always had a pretty good relationship, and I'm excited to be back in Cincinnati because, even these first two games, like he's met with me and we've chatted about what I can do better and stuff like that. So it's always good to have a coach like that you've known for a long time that you trust. And so yeah, it's a good situation that he's here and I'm here.
We know you were a star player there at Indiana University. We'll get to that here in a minute, but I want to ask you, at what point in your youth or when you were younger, did you realize that being a professional soccer player was a dream of yours and that you wanted to pursue that?
I was probably pretty young because I always growing up, I always had a soccer ball at my feet, whether I was, inside, outside, even in my room, just kind of kicking it at the wall and dribbling around. And I think that's kind of when I started to realize that I wanted my life to be revolved around this game. And then obviously, like, as you get older, you start having people tell you that, you could have a chance of playing professional soccer. And then I was just putting in the work throughout the years.
How many times did your mom and dad tell you to quit kicking the ball in the house? Because I have that problem now with my 11-year-olds.
My mom used to kick me out of the house because I'd kick the furniture and she thinks I was going to break it or stuff like that. So quite a lot of times my mom got upset with me because I was kicking the ball all around.
No broken lamps, though?
No broken lamps, thankfully, because I don't think my mom would have forgiven me if I did that.
So we mentioned IU, and I was just doing the math here in preparation for chatting with you, and I think you started as a freshman at IU right around the same time that FC Cincinnati came about. You probably played your first soccer game at IU before FC Cincinnati had even had a chance to take the field. So it's kind of odd to think of it that way. But as you were at IU and seeing what was happening at FC Cincinnati, were you paying a close attention to it and seeing the movement that was going on here?
I don't think I've really paid attention to it until like last season when you guys put up those crazy amount of points in the USL, and then when like the MLS started to promote Cincinnati and they kind of just showed how the club was set up, how many fans the club gets, and just like the awesome setup that it had, that's when I really started to pay close attention to it. And then obviously when I had news that there might have been a potential loan move to come here, I started to pay very, very close attention to it. So yeah, the club has always had a lot of positive hype around it since it's only been around for 4 years. So yeah, it's a good setup so far.
There's been a lot of talk in the last few years too about Major League Soccer and college players and the academy system. And you're one of those guys who went on to college and had a tremendous career there at Indiana University. For those kids who are looking to go forward and play collegiate soccer, what were some of the positives for you?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing with kids is like when you're 16, 17 years old and you have MLS clubs saying that, you know, they want to sign you and like make you a professional, you kind of have to take a step back and realize like, are you ready, you know, physically, mentally, all that stuff? Because at 17 years old, I had those opportunities, but I knew I wasn't physically ready and I definitely wasn't mentally ready. And I think being in college, it allowed me to develop, you know, my body a little bit more, get bigger, stronger, all that kind of stuff. And then mentally too, college just kind of makes you grow up a lot because you're living on your own. You have to, you know, take care of yourself and be an adult. And I think those are the biggest positives of going to college because, you know, if you go to MLS right away at 17 years old and you're not ready for it, then you're going to be, you know, out of the league very quickly. And I think college is a good little gap that gets kids ready for that next step of playing in the MLS.
And it certainly worked out for you because obviously Celtic took eye and you signed your big professional first contract there. And you know, you had a chance over the summer to catch on with them for their preseason tour and featured in a couple of their matches. What was that experience like for you playing for such a huge club over from Scotland?
Yeah, it was unbelievable because when I was young, I always wanted to play in Europe. And like you said, in January, I had a chance to sign for Celtic and to go back to preseason and train with those guys and really see what the level was like was a great experience because, you know, one, you get to see how a big club like Celtic operates for their preseason and everything. And two, it kind of made me realize that I'm good enough to play in Europe, and it really helped with my confidence because I went over there and I did really well, got a lot of positive feedback, played in some games. So that was a big plus for me, was just getting my confidence up over there, knowing that I can play for such a big club and play in Europe.
Then you make the move back stateside and you latch on with FC Cincinnati, and you're kind of in a unique situation in that you're arriving right around the same time the club is kind of making a shift with new head coach Ron Jans. What's it like working with him here in this short amount of time that you've been there?
Yeah, he's a great coach. Especially being a young player, he instills a lot of confidence in me and is always positive with me in terms of coaching. And, you know, it's going to take a little bit of time for him to implement, you know, his style and everything. But what he's done so far, I think, is the right things. And he's getting the club moving in a positive direction again. But it's just going to take a little bit of time for him to step in and really take hold of the club how he wants to do it.
And you've slotted right in there at left back, started the last two matches. And what's it like lining up to such a big guy like Kendall Waston? He's such an intimidating guy out on the field. I can't imagine he's any less intimidating there on the training pitch.
Yeah, he's a big guy, but he's helped me a lot. You know, obviously being a young player, and he's played a bunch of games in the MLS. I don't know quite how many, but yeah, he's always talking to me, making sure that you know, I have the confidence to do what I do and making sure that I'm in the right positions and stuff like that. And he's a tremendous leader out there. So I really enjoy playing next to him.
The last two matches against the Crew, obviously, and then NYCFC, it seems like the attack is really featured there from your side. Is this something that Ron is emphasizing in training?
I wouldn't say emphasizing it, but he definitely gives me the freedom to push forward and get into the attack because he knows that as a left back, if I can create things, it kind of unbalances the defense because not that often do fullbacks, you know, join the attack. It's normally the wingers or the strikers. So in that aspect, yeah. But at the same time, I have to make sure my defensive duties are sound before I can get forward. But yeah, I always like to attack, and he gives me the green light to do it. So I'm just going to keep doing what I've been doing for many years.
Now, Ron's come over from the European side of things as well as, and you've had some experience over the summer with Celtic, obviously. Have you noticed? Are there any differences in the two training methods between what you saw at Celtic and what you see here with FC Cincinnati, or is it very similar?
I'd say it's different and similar. That kind of contradicts itself.
A little both. I get it.
Yeah. There's certain things that he does that, a lot of European teams do. But at the same time, the thing about Europe is every single country thinks like they all have a different style of play. So in Scotland, it's a very direct style of play, up and down, fast pace, as opposed to maybe say like Spain, is more like possession and short passes. So he's got a little bit of different style just because he's Dutch. But overall, he's a good coach. He does some similar things to Celtic, but at the same time, he does a lot of different things as well.
All right, so it's time to have a little fun now, Andrew. It's time for some rapid fire questions. These are the quick one answer questions I could give you. Are you ready to have some fun here?
Yep.
All right, here we go. When you were growing up, outside of Celtic, obviously, because we know you're with them now, but was there a favorite foreign club you grew up watching that you absolutely loved?
Manchester United.
Oh, you just hit me right in the heart. I love it. I'm sorry that we scheduled this interview during the match.
All right, I have it on right now. It's on mute.
Oh, good. What's the score?
1-1.
Oh, they gave up a goal. All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
So who was your favorite player growing up?
Marcelo, the left back for Real Madrid.
Nice. Speaking of Real Madrid, we saw a lot of Ronaldo there, but there's always that debate. Who's the better player? Is it Messi or is it Ronaldo? So I'm putting you on the hot seat. Who's the better player, Andrew?
Messi, no doubt.
Oh, okay. All right. I mean, I would have figured being a Manchester United guy, you would have selected Ronaldo, but okay, I get it.
Yeah, no, but Ronaldo's a good player. He's a good goal scorer, but you look at Messi, he can finish, he can pass, he's a playmaker, and he's incredible to watch. Whereas Ronaldo will just always get you a goal, but he's not hitting 60-yard diagonal balls into space to unlock the whole defense, which
Sure.
Messi does on a consistent basis.
That's true. He's usually on the other end of those, receiving those.
Yeah,
passes.
exactly.
All right. So what's a better feeling for you, scoring a game-winning goal or making a game-saving tackle?
Scoring a game-winning goal. I know I'm a defender, but I like to score goals.
What's been your favorite moment so far as a professional soccer player?
Probably going to preseason with Celtic. That was a pretty surreal experience.
It's certainly understandable. That's a big moment. I get that. Did you have a favorite food growing up that your mom or dad would cook?
Oh gosh.
I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to, because there's always a couple. I don't know. I really like my mom when she would make like spaghetti and meatballs kind of thing,
Okay.
and she would make she'd get like these ingredients from like this local. I don't know if you want to call it like a bakery, but it was like a local Italian place, and she would put together meatballs, and they were delicious.
All right. I'm going to assume you're a FIFA player. Is that a fair assumption?
Yep, FIFA 20 comes out next month.
All right. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the worst and 10 being the best, what would you say your rating is?
I would say 10, but I know probably not that good. But realistically, if I had to go up against a true FIFA player, I'd probably be at like a 6.
All right. So I know you've been here a short amount of time. Like, who's the best FIFA player in the training room right now?
To be honest, I don't think there's an Xbox in there yet. It's more of like table tennis and pool and stuff like that.
Ooh, I got to ask then, who's the best table tennis player?
I think Alan Cruz is the best one.
All right.
But I'm sure other guys will say differently.
So when you play FIFA, which team do you normally play with?
Manchester United.
I love it. I love it. Let's talk about your cheat days. What's your go-to food?
My go-to food, probably Portillo's. So I don't know. I don't have it in Cincinnati, but Portillo's is like a big like hot dog and burger place in Chicago.
Okay.
So I usually get like a chili cheese dog and cheese fries usually.
We're going to get to chili in a minute here, Andrew. Don't you worry. So you mentioned you grew up in Chicago. So are you a Cubs guy or a White Sox guy?
Cubs.
Are you a podcast guy at all? Do you listen to podcasts on road trips?
Not really. I'm more of a kind of music. And I do a lot of word searches on road trips.
Okay.
Just to kind of pass the time.
Do you have a favorite band or musical artist?
I like hip hop kind of and house music.
Okay. What's the one movie you could probably recite every line to?
Oh wow. The Blind Side.
Okay, that's a solid movie. Solid choice there.
Yeah, I like that movie a lot.
And I'll get you off the hot seat with this question. I know you have been here for a very short amount of time, and I know you know the history of Cincinnati chili and Skyline chili. But have you had a chance to enjoy Cincinnati's finest chili?
I have not. To be honest, so what I've heard is people from Cincinnati love Skyline, but people outside of Cincinnati don't like it. So I'm kind of assuming that I'm not going to like it, but I think I have to try it just to get the full Cincinnati experience.
You got to try it.
I don't know. Chili and pasta don't really like go together.
You'd be surprised.
That's true. I'll have to give it a try soon.
So that's it for rapid fire. You did well, Andrew. I'll say you did really well here. I just got a couple more questions. Over the weekend, you had your first home match here at Nippert Stadium in front of the home crowd. It wasn't the result that you wanted, but it had to be great finally getting a chance to play in front of the home crowd.
Yeah, it was pretty incredible. I think that it's the best fans in MLS, and I think that game showed it. I think it was a sellout crowd. And like you said, the result wasn't reflective of how we played. I thought we played better than the 4-1 result. So as long as the fans keep backing us, I think the team's going to keep moving in a positive direction.
You got another big week ahead of you, though. You made your debut against the Crew in the first Hell is Real, and you got the second one coming up this weekend. What takeaways did you get from that first match that you learned from and you're going to put into play this weekend? Yeah,
I think it was just getting the debut out of the way and kind of feeling that I can play in the MLS and play at this level was a big confidence booster for me. And then, to pick up my first assist this last weekend was also pretty good. So I think I'm just going to continue to kind of do what I've been doing, tighten up maybe on some defensive work and clean up my passes a little bit. But overall, I'm going to kind of keep playing how I've been playing, and hopefully we get a big result at home this weekend.
Big game coming up against the Crew. Last time you faced them, you'd been with the team for a very short amount of time. And obviously this is a huge rivalry, but obviously in-state rivalry between these two clubs. Did you get a sense before that match leading up to it how big it was? And then, when you were there at Montfrey Stadium a couple weeks ago and seeing the environment, did it really set in?
Yeah, I think like the whole week leading up to the game was when I really realized about the rivalry. Because at first I didn't really understand like rivalries in the MLS and stuff like that. But every day throughout the week, the coaches were telling us how big of a game it was and how we need to get a result for our fans and everything. And then honestly, when I got to the stadium and I saw all the traveling Cincinnati fans, at some points of the game, it kind of felt like we were at home just with how loud they were cheering. So I can't imagine what this weekend's going to be when we're actually at home and I'm guessing going to be another sellout crowd. So I'm really excited about it. And, if we can get a win against the Crew for the fans, it'll be a pretty special moment for the club.
It's going to be pandemonium. I know I can't wait. I'm sure you can't wait. I want to take this time to thank you for taking some time out of your busy schedule to be with us, Andrew. Wish you nothing but the best of luck here the rest of the way, and go beat the Crew for us, will you?
Yep. Thank you for having me. It was fun.
That's going to do it for this episode of Cincinnati Soccer Talk. What a blast it was to catch up with Andrew and learn about his soccer origins and, everything he's got going on, whether it's Celtic FC or FC Cincinnati. I think we're all thrilled to have such a talented young player on board as our new left back. Don't forget, it's not too late to get registered. Head on over to CincinnatiSoccerTalk.com/footgolf for the 4th annual CST Foot Golf Classic presented by the Joseph Auto Group. It's not too late. Get registered. Again, that website, CincinnatiSoccerTalk.com/footgolf. We hope to see you all out there. Make sure you get subscribed to the show so you don't miss March to Match Day this week, where we preview the next edition of Hell is Real. That's going to do it for this episode of Cincinnati Soccer Talk. I'm Serge, reminding you to watch your tackles. I will see you all next week.